Don here in Florida, and today I'm going to talk about the Delta bandsaw a little bit more. I said in a previous video that I wasn't going to talk about these anymore. I have other things to do, but I do have a couple of requests on updates about this, because apparently a couple of my viewers are also doing these Delta bandsaws, in particular the 2-speed model here with the gearbox. So I will give you a couple updates. And we're going to make a part that I found I didn't have in my bag of goodies. It just disappeared. So real quick, let's get on with the update. Notice that I've got the 2-speed gearbox back in here. It's all assembled. I redid that gear there a few weeks ago with the brazing, and did a little bit of file work on it, and it finally runs really smooth. I was turning it this way, and I realized it's about a 52-to-1 reduction, and I wanted to see if there were any tight or catching spots in those gear teeth. And after spinning it for a half an hour, I decided, well, I'm not going to do it for the video. So I put the wheel on the back here, so I have a little bit of advantage in the leverage, and as you can see, it spins very smoothly. No catch-ups, no hold-ups, nothing. It's just like a new one. Quiet to boot. I'm surprised. These Delta bandsaw gearboxes tend to be fairly noisy. So maybe when I get it under power, it will be a little bit more noisy. But it is running smooth right now. This is the top shaft I showed you on my Frankensaw over there. I don't have the lock in and out on the other saw. I just simply changed the belts for that and reversed the motor, because I've got a 3-phase on the other one. This one here, I'm building it back as if the factory built it, so let me just show you how that works. Okay, in this setup here, when all the pulleys are on, you have the pulleys from the motor driving this gearbox, and when you're engaged inward, the gearbox, the gear reduction is in play. And if you want to cut wood, you would have this pulley on here, and what would happen is when you pull this back, it would engage this pulley and disengage the bottom set of pulleys, meaning your gearbox is disengaged, and at this point you would be able to run the wood cutting version of this. Now this pulley needs to be cleaned up and straightened a little bit, but that's no big deal. So anyway, this is what engages and disengages the gearbox and the wood cutting pulley. So pretty straightforward, simple. I've got the table mount all set up. I've got the guide set up on here as well. So this is all good to go. The table's all cleaned up and ready to go and be put on. So that's all set. Basically the bottom end's done on this. What I'm focusing on today is this. The part that goes in right here that adjusts the tracking of the bandsaw wheel is missing. I didn't have one in my bag over there, so we're gonna have to make one. So as you can see, I've cleaned this up. I've taken all the high spots off of this. So this is where I'm at right now. I chopped a piece of 1/2-inch plate off, which we're gonna use in here as the adjuster. I have to mill this and drill it and everything, which we're going to do here in a minute. I found a pin which would insert into here, which I cleaned up. It's a little pitted, but it'll work. It's smooth to the feel. And then I've found another pin that goes through here. It starts to bind as I go through there, so I know when I cut it off, it'll be a nice tight fit to hold that in place. So let's go ahead over to the Frankensaw and disassemble that so that we can get all our proper dimensions before we start cutting. Okay, over here on Frankensaw, let's go ahead and get this apart. Oh, guess I had that in tighter than I needed. All right, so it comes out just like that, very simple. So let's go back on the bench. All right, as always, I'm sorry about the mess out here, but I seem to have fewer cleanup days than I have work days. So I'm surprised that that pin actually sits in there as loose as it does. So I think I'm going to drill this just a little bit tighter for this pin when I do it. So that'll go in just like that. So let's go ahead and knock this out. Go. Pin comes out just like that, piece just like that. So just a quick measurement between this pin, I know this was the original pin, and this pin. Yeah, this is just a little bit larger, but it'll work. Okay, what I was really looking for was this. Notice where the pin goes through. If I was to just start drilling on this, I might have thought that I would drill straight through the middle of this, but that's not how it goes, because that's a V-way in there, so it's above that point. That's the measurement I wanted right there, how far the center of this is from the center of that. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to mill this to size first, and we'll take the easy way out. So let's go do that. Okay, let's take those high points off of there first. Okay, I think that's going to work. We are going to cut some of this out later. That's why I'm not too concerned about the raggedy sides here. I just want to have some flat spots that I can guarantee I'm going to get good straight drill points through. So it looks like this is about, let me measure down from that top edge, 1.28. So 1.28 plus half the thickness of this, 314. So that means we'll drill a 0.285 down at the center point right here. So I think I'll actually do that in the mill as well to guarantee that I get a good straight drill through there. Okay, so I went ahead and got this all zeroed off and centered and set up on the DRO. So we're going to go ahead and see if we can drill straight through this and have a nice clean cut. Okay, because we are inserting a fairly tight fitting pin through there, I want it to go really straight and hold, so we're going to go ahead and ream it to size. There we go. Yeah, looks like we got it right through the center. Very nice. Okay, so I know these holes are drilled down at the same point, so I'm going to push them up against this block like this, so they're both at the same height. And then I've got this socket sit down in here. This is a 0.612 hole, so I don't actually have a center punch for that. So this socket has a hole in the middle. It's round, so, and it's tapered, so it centers itself. And then this punch will go right into that hole perfectly. I'll just make sure my ends are lined up here. Find my hammer. There we go. And hopefully we get that on there square. And we've got a nice spot to drill now. So okay, so we got her centered, and I got center hole started, so let's go ahead and get this drilled through. Okay, I'm set up with the boring head now. The drill doesn't make a very clean cut through there. Believe it or not, even with that heavy drill passing down past this point here where we've got a passageway going through there, it even deflected a little bit. So we're gonna clean that whole thing up with a boring bar. We're gonna make a skim pass through there first just to see if we can clean that hole, and we'll measure it, and then we'll see how much we have to take out. Okay, so let's take a quick look, see what kind of hole we got here. See where we're at. 0.575, 0.578. Let me go double check what we need. Okay, back to 0 and 15 thousandths, huh? Now I've already taken the backlash out of this. I'm gonna bring it up 5, 10, and then we'll take a look. Look at that, nice fit. Little bit of clearance, but less than the other pin, so that'll work out fine, I think. Okay, so I drew up a little pattern on here. We know this go through here now. Okay, so that pin is going to be a press fit in there. This will go in there like that. It's a little tight still. It's just a little tighter than I thought it was. That'll go in there like that. That'll hold that in. I'm gonna have to cut this off and shorten it, and I'll probably taper it a little bit to make going through easier. But in the meantime, I drew out a pattern here. And I'll probably mill this side and then just cut this on the saw. Actually, let's go do that. Let's mill this and then we'll cut that on the saw. Alright, we'll clean that up on the belt sander. Okay, let's fit this up and see how it goes. So that'll go in there like that. That's a tight fit, so I'm going to wait till it's actually going in there. Almost got it wrong. That's the adjusting hole right there. So this paddle point has to go over that adjusting point right there. I'm going to get the pin started first. And there we go. Okay, so that pin is inset slightly in here. It looks like we got a nice movement. So a little stiff, but that's because it's new. So this pin fits a lot tighter than that other one. Let's go put it on the machine. So that'll sit right down on like that. And, sit on there like that. Of course, it's not adjusted out, but when you adjust it out, okay, so I got a bolt in the back and I'm adjusting it out. So when it adjusts out like that, that spins, you can move it back and forth like this to adjust tracking back and forth like that. See that? That's how you adjust it. So one last thing I didn't mention, this is for Kyle. I did end up making a stainless steel nut here. This was a 1" by 20 TPI left-hand thread. This was not a standard right-hand thread. So I knocked that out on the Monarch. It came out pretty good. It's so pretty in stainless. I may move it on over to the Franken saw, since that's all open and this is going to be closed in, and I'll just put the regular nut on there. So I guess that just about covers it. I'll be finishing up on this saw here pretty soon. I got to buy some things. I need a motor for it, and of course I need new bands and belts and stuff. So I'm going to get all those together, get all the guards and shields on this, and then run her up, see how she goes. I don't know if that'll be another video or not. Probably not. I got other things I want to do on the video, so we'll just play it by ear and see what happens. So I guess that's about it. From Florida, as always, Don out.